Hey, this is Jewel, and soon I will be playing Hoedown on Friday night. I hope you'll join me. I'm going to be singing my new song. I'm sure you've heard it on WYCD. It's called Stronger Woman. And come on out. Sponsored by Chrysler Jeep.
WYCD.com. Video on demand.
And you're such a talented songwriter. There's a lot of songs on the album that you wrote when you were 19. How does it feel to get some of those back out, and put them on an album?
It's great. As I said, I was raised on a ranch in Alaska. My dad's a cowboy, and he writes his own music, and he taught me to yodel when I was a kid, which made me very unpopular as a child. But there are some kind of old-timey cowboy songs I wrote with some yodeling in them, and the title track, my record's called Perfectly Clear, and I actually wrote that when I was about 18, and they've been sitting around just because they were pretty country, and a lot of my stuff's been country over the years, but this stuff's a little bit more, and so I had to wait to put it on a record, and I'm glad I finally get to put it out.
No, we're happy to have you over in the country realm, because having heard you in pop, it's like, you know what, she could do country. I mean, it's when people would hear you, that'd be the first thing they would think, and that's why you get a lot of fans on both sides of the format dial here.
Yeah, it was funny. I always would tell my label, I'm like, you do realize I write country songs. Like, it was an anomaly. I was with the Spice Girls on the pop charts. You were meant for me as a little teeny shuffle. It was just, not that I'm complaining. I went from being homeless to selling 30 million records, so I can't complain, but it really bummed me out. I wanted, I'm a storyteller and a songwriter, so I finally got off that label. I had 6 records I owed him and got off the label, and finally got to make this country record. But I might play you an old one if you guys don't mind.
Love
it.
We're honored.
I guess because speaking of being homeless, I was homeless for about a year. I was answering phones at a computer warehouse, and I had a house, an apartment, and I was late in my rent all the time. And my landlord was like, if you're late much more, we're going to have to kick you out. And so my boss took me aside one day, and he's having this talk with me, and I realized halfway through the talk that he's asking me to have sex with him. So I do. Oh. No, I didn't. I'm kidding.
Let me pick my jaw back up off the floor here.
No, I'm totally kidding. I shouldn't even joke about stuff like that.
That's terrible. That is terrible, Jewel.
But it's my own life, so I can laugh.
Well, I was just going to say, Grunwald Productions is hiring right now.
Yeah, but
that's creepy.
It's the physical that's going to kill you.
Honestly, he, he's propositioned me, and I turned him down, obviously, and I tried to joke the whole thing off, and I went back in the next day for my paycheck, and he wouldn't even acknowledge me, wouldn't even act like I walked in the room.
You burst that bubble, didn't you?
And he wouldn't even give me my paycheck. So I left without my paycheck. I got kicked out of where I was living, didn't have first and last month's rent, and, started sleeping in my car, and I had bad kidneys at the time, and I couldn't afford insurance or medication, and it was just really a downward spiral, and I ended up being homeless for about a year, and I was writing songs all the time, and ended up getting discovered while I was homeless. A radio station that was local actually heard a bootleg of mine and put it on the radio, and record labels heard about that, and that's how I got discovered. It was amazing.
What a story.
That's a meant to be thing right there.
Yeah.
WYCD. I've had an opportunity to meet Jewel. Of course, been listening to your music since I was 5 years old.
Really?
Yes, girlfriend.
Which means Jewel was recording in 1915. Wow. Gosh, you hold your age very well.
Well, I just have to say, we do all requests from 7 to midnight, and we get so many requests for your empowering, stronger woman song.
Good. Thank you. I'm so glad. I really appreciate it.
It's really an awesome song. I can't wait to hear the rest of your CD.
Well, thanks. Tonight's actually going to be my very first show with my brand new band. So hopefully it'll go good.
Jill, I was asking her just a couple of minutes ago, I say, because you've done thousands of shows in your career. And are you nervous tonight? And you told me you were.
Well, I've been solo for a while now, no band, just me and my guitar. So having a new band's always a little bit awkward because you don't know each other very good yet, and your cues. But
do you have a name for them?
I think it should be fun. As long as everybody out there's drank a lot, I'm going to sound really good.
I'm already halfway there, then, so I'm going to love this.
Jewel and the Rhinestones or anything?
Yeah, they'd kill me.
Jewel and the Rhinestones?
Jewel and the Gemstones. How people have
Don't
names
say the family jewels. Let's not go there.
The Bedazzler went out
that was
years
even a better
and years
one.
ago.
Bedazzle, that would work too.
Bedazzler's not in anymore, Jill.
I heard you were thinking about doing like another book of poetry because you had that one out and you got a whole bunch of other poems pulled together.
I do, actually. I've been a little bit shy to do it because they're love poems, and I don't know why. I don't mind strangers reading them, but when I think of my mother-in-law reading them, it kind of I don't know. It weirds me
Well,
out.
what's wrong with that? I mean, you can easily tell her, well, I was thinking of
She
him while I
knows
did
how
that.
much you love him.
I know, but
I think she'd be
it's
honored.
a little personal. I don't know.
Yeah, but when
It's
one of
made
the
me shy.
But it's okay for me to read it in Grunwald, the
There's
scrunchiest
no
two people
sense
in the
to
world.
the madness.
But
I
if
know.
one of the poems is like annoying and it's about your husband because he's driving you crazy some
Right.
weekend, then you don't want your mother-in-law
But
seeing
it's a
it.
love song. It's
No,
love poems.
yeah, they're love poems, but yeah.
You know, are you going to do your first early 2 hits that we heard on the radio?
I'm going to
for
do
a
all
long
of them,
time?
I think, tonight. All my hits.
The egg one about sharing the toothbrush.
Yeah, you remember from me. I'll definitely do that.
Favorite song of
Oh,
all
I'm so
time.
glad. Thank
Love it,
you.
love it, love it. We're so excited. What time are you taking the stage for people listening?
Oh, 8:30.
Because so many people are coming just to see you.
Well, not at all. This is a great event. This is my first time being part of it. I'm really excited. This has been a long-standing, huge event without me, so you guys are doing just fine. I'm
Now,
glad
did you
to
bring the husband this time? Because, we wanted to actually get him and Grunwald in kind of like a little calf wrestling sort of thing. Grunwald, of course, being the calf.
And I'm not saying this because you're sitting here. I really think your husband and the job that he does, it's one of the toughest jobs you could ever do, and I have so much respect for him because just trying it once, it was the worst experience of my life.
Okay, if
Yeah.
you're like me and you work nights and you didn't hear the morning show, what does your husband do?
We're not married, by the way, just so you
you're
guys
not?
know.
What
No.
does your honey bun do?
But we've been together 10 years, so everybody says that.
Well,
so,
common
no.
law marriage by now.
Yes.
He's a rodeo star, big-time rodeo
Yeah,
star.
his name's
and
Ty
I'm telling
Murray.
you,
He's the 7-time all-around
Okay.
champ and the
We've
2-time bull riding
We've had him
champ.
up, haven't
So
we?
does
We
he go
talked
for
to him
the
a time
whole
or two,
8
yeah.
seconds quite a bit?
Oh, and longer, my dear. Those
Wow.
athletes.
All right, let's
That's
let it go with
always
that.
And you're the one that didn't want to go to the Family Jewels line. All right.
She went there. I was in.
It's kind of funny, though. Jewel just invited us, Doc, to have a drink on her bus.
Well, us girls better
You guys
go.
can
I
find me
better
a
go
bus.
to
We're going to have a
protect
drink
her.
on it. That's for sure.
I better go to protect her. So is there anything we should know about you that we don't know yet?
Jules,
favorite
my real
place-
name. Everybody wonders that.
Yes,
It's my family name. Jules, my real name. Kilcher is my last name. Very few people know that. Other than that, I don't really know what to say.
Are you Swedish? I know
Swiss.
you're Swiss.
Yeah.
Good guess.
But I speak
Swiss.
Swedish. Do you? You taller
No,
inte
no,
bra?
no, no, no.
Nej.
Jill has a hard time with English, and it's her normal language. I mean, I find the fascinating part that you were born Utah and then moved to Alaska, and grew up a lot in Alaska before moving down, which I still just find
My
fascinating. How do
family
you
were
deal with
pioneers, actually, in Alaska. They helped settle the state before it was a state, actually. It was a territory. And my granddad actually drafted the Alaska Constitution. He was a senator.
Wow.
Wow, who would think you're a little redneck, huh?
I know. I'm an Alaska hillbilly. If you have an outhouse and a coal stove for heat, you're an Alaskan hillbilly.
Is it still really wilderness where you live, or is it all built up now in Alaska? There?
It's really remote. I grew up on such a remote ranch. You
Oh,
couldn't even
neat.
drive to where we lived. I lived in a saddle barn. I grew up in a saddle barn with no electricity, and you had to walk 2 miles in just to even get to
You should
our home site.
make a video or whatever it is of your childhood. That would be fascinating to see.
It'd be fascinating for my mom. That's probably about it.
No, I would love to see. I love seeing old-fashioned places like that.
No, I
You don't
am
get to
really
see.
proud of it. I have a really
Yeah.
neat family. They're all pioneers. I'm one of the last American children of pioneers, in America. So I am really proud of my heritage.
Well, we're really
I would be
excited to have
too.
you here tonight
Yes.
and have you play, and we'll let you go and get ready to go out there, Doc.
Yeah, and of course, one last question: which bus is it? Because Grunwald and I don't want to climb on the wrong one.
It'll be the one that says "Don't enter." No, I'm just kidding.
WYCD.